One on pole position, Russell Ingall alongside him, then John Bower, Dick Johnson on the second row.
Row 3, Larry Perkins in the second, Castrol Commodore and Mark Scape. Row 4, Wayne Gardner and Tony Longhurst.
And rounding up the top 10 on the grid for this one, Paul Romano and John Faulkner.
Well, he had some dramas in Heat 1, but he's back on the grid for Heat 2. Glenn Seaton, engine repairs to the Ford Credit Falcon, but he takes his position from the very last position on the grid. A lot of work to do. We're only seconds away now from the start of Heat 2. Round 6 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship from Calder Park. Russell Ingall now up on the front row with Craig Lowndes. Let's see if he can beat him off the line. Engines right against the rev limiters, powered out, and Russell Ingall has got an absolute flyer. He might be able to lead, covers across to take his territory, and he has got a blinder off the line to lead Lowndes into turn 1.
Well, what a start by Russell Ingall. Had to happen sooner or later. Lowndes has had some blinder starts. He had to put a foot wrong. Oh, he didn't put a foot wrong. It was Russell Ingall who made the brilliant start.
Field pushing their way through this tight section out of Repco, up to turn 2, through turn 3 and up over the rise for the first time. And it's Ingall in command for the first time in the Shell Championship, with Craig Lowndes breathing down his neck. First of the Shell Fords in third as they head up the back straight, building up to 200 kilometres an hour and braking very hard. Look at Lowndes getting all out of shape under brakes. Very, very close. A couple of little taps on Ingall to tell him he's there. I don't think Russell needs reminding. Lowndes getting very hot under the collar on this opening lap. He wants that big break on cold tyres that he always seems to build, but now he's stuck back in the pack with John Bower right behind him.
Ingall still clinging to the lead, managing to hold off Lowndes at this point. John Bower holding down third position ahead of Larry Perkins, then Tony Longhurst, and rounding up the 10 we've got Gardner, Johnson and Brock in 7th and 8th positions. We have a look at that, then Mark Scafe and Faulkner.
Look at that, Johnson. Dunlop Race Cam shows you side by side, but Brock's got a good line into Repco. He'll take up the position. See him trying to squeeze his way around before, but look at the pressure being applied here. Russell Ingall doing a great job in the Castrol. Car number 8, just ahead of Craig Lowndes in second position. John Bower in third.
Glenn Seaton started rear of the grid, has already passed a half dozen in 14th spot.
So Seaton on a charge from the back of the grid, as we've seen a number of times this year. Not having the best of starts in the first heat, but fighting his way back through the pack. He's got a lot of work to get up to this bunch. Very close, bumper to bumper, door-to-door racing from the 5-litre cars. Heat 2, round 6 of the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship. Little gap back to Perkins there in 4th. We take race cam. Front spoiler of the Castrol Commodore, who's Larry Perkins locked in this battle. This terrific scrap, 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th positions. And you're getting a ground view as he tries a run on the outside of John Bower. Hard under brakes, you can see the flames belching from the exhaust of the HRT Commodore in front of him. Very, very close to John Bower. Getting plenty physical through this tight part of the circuit. Swing hard into turn 2, back through turn 3. Then it's hard on the power once again as they come over the rise. Car getting a little bit light.
Well, you get an eyeful from this shot, not only John Bower hit it. Oh, look at this, goodness gracious, Paul Romano,
Steve Reed,
and Steve Reed. How did they get nose to nose?
Well, it must have been a big moment down there. I think braking from very high speed.
And Larry Perkins, I understand, has also had a spin. So, by gee, the action's happening thick and fast here in the second heat.
Let's have a look at this again. This is from the front spoiler. Pow! So, trying to run around the outside of Bower, didn't come off. Contact between the two cars. Big cloud of tyre smoke. Perkins loses a lot of positions.
There's a Lansvale car, fair bit of damage to the front of that.
Steve Reed.
Well, Larry was bemoaning the fact that their new Dunlops had only arrived from Japan on Wednesday. They'd had no time to test the batch of tyres, but they're working all right for Russell Ingall.
Yeah, well, it's been a big fight back for Dunlop after that disaster. Kobe last year. But they're making a lot of headway here. Look at Lowndes. Big fistful of opposite lock. Hard under brakes. He gets right up behind the Castrol Commodore, getting a little bit ragged on that run onto the straight. That'll affect his terminal speed. Plenty of grunt.
John Bower driving hard too, trying to get back up onto the tail of this pair, having lost some ground in that tangle with Larry Perkins.
We take Seeger Holden race cam with Mark Scafe.
Stephen Richards in front of him.
Look at that, he ducks out of the draft, down the outside, hard under brakes for Repco corner. You can see how busy Scafe is there. Hanging onto the wheel, tucks in behind. Not able to do anything around the outside of the Valvoline Cummins Commodore that time around, so Scafe's found himself right back in these flying privateers, currently in 11th position, just outside of the top 10, with Richards, Ellery and Faulkner, the 3 privateers up ahead of him. So he's having a hard day at the office. Look at this, talk about hard days at the office. Russell Ingall is earning his keep here every lap of the race. Maximum pressure from Craig Lowndes, and there's the pack leader forward, Paul Romano. We saw him tangled up in that accident at Repco corner last time around with the Lansvale Smash Repairs car. Plenty of steam coming out of the bonnet, plenty of battle damage.
Half distance in this 20-lapper, and on the Shell race score, Russell Ingall still holds the lead from Craig Lowndes. John Bowe in third spot. Rocky's moved up to fourth, and Tony Longhurst in fifth position. Every challenge from Craig Lowndes thus far, more than half distance gone in this Heat 2 Round 6, the Shell Australian Touring Car Championship from Calder. And still, Lowndes serving it up to him down the main straight, pulls out wide, pulls up level with him as they go down to Repco corner, but under brakes Ingall. Oh, gee, just holding him out on the outside still. Now Lowndes tries to pull in his nose underneath, but no chance there. Ingall holding on still, bouncing off the curbs.
Very difficult spot to be under pressure. Look at Bowe now. He's fallen back into the clutches. John Bowe and Tony Longhurst creating the sandwich there for Peter Brock. Really have closed the gap.
And Brock's really attacking Bowe at this stage, which is actually
look at this
slowing
in
him down.
front. Craig Lowndes trying to go around the outside. But Lowndes has been left high and dry.
And so was Brock.
So was Brock. So two HRT cars attacking at exactly the same time.
That's given Russell Ingall a breather, which he needed.
Which he won't have for long.
We take race cam for the Ford Credit Falcon EF. Glenn Seaton fighting his way back from the back of the grid. 12th position now after starting from the last row. And you can see he is working real hard. Positions changing all the way up and down the field. Look at Bowe and Peter Brock. This is the battle for third and fourth position, and there are crucial championship points on offer here too. So Ingall and Lowndes just about a second or two up the road from these two. John Bowe, the reigning Shell Australian Touring Car Champion. Peter Brock breathing right down his neck.
Well, John Bowe desperate to ensure that nobody gets between him and Lowndes wherever Lowndes finishes, because he's got to stay within as close a points contact as he can with the series leader.
And JB is one of the toughest blokes to pass in the business. You watch him run around the inside line there. I mean, he's really got it down to an art, and Brock will really have his work cut out to get around JB anyway.
Oh,
Rocky's
big
gone.
Contact, and it's not over yet.
Oh, Bowe gets through. Wow, miracle.
Well, high-speed accident, under brakes, 220 kilometres an hour for that very sharp right-hander.
I thought Bowe was gone for the world there too.
It really looked like he was going to get harpooned on the way through, but Bowe just managed to sneak through. Longhurst went with him, and they both survived, so Brock gets right to the back of the pack. Let's look at that again on replay. Brock, frustrated over the last few laps, has a real go down the inside, but gets a little bit out of shape, taps the side of the Shell Ford.
Dropped the wheel off there.
Just dropped a wheel off the inside, and pretty lucky not to get Bowe on the way back through there, but it was a good move. I mean, it came very close to coming off.
Yeah, struggling for a little bit of grip there, Brocky. Working hard to try and overtake Bowe, very aggressive move. We take Seeger Holden race cam. Mark Scaife, 5 laps to go, mixing it down here with the privateers. And I think there's a problem for Craig Lowndes too. There he is, Craig Lowndes. We saw him slowing coming down the pit straight that time. So some sort of technical failure, apparently. This new HRT Commodore has been the fastest thing on the planet so far. But some sort of drama has slowed him right down. Well, there's Alan Jones, the second pack leader Ford, in trouble. 4 laps to go.
Well, he had no brakes in the first heat. I don't know what the problem is this time, but it's 2 out of 2. He's out of business.
Longhurst up to third position. He just would have been a dream for him last year to even be anywhere near John Bowe. Now he's breathing right down his neck.
Craig Lowndes is in the pits, as was obvious from the way he made his way around the back of the circuit. Has made it into the pits. The problem, of course, has put him out of this race.
So, let's look at this on race cam. There goes Mark Scaife. He seems to be battling with the privateers, Seaton, that is, coming back through the pack, and you've got a nice view there of Scaife throwing all of that away. He lost it on the corner, so Scaife, plenty of work ahead of him.
Under 3 laps remaining for Russell Ingall, race leader, Heat 2 in this championship round. John Bowe in second place, Tony Longhurst third. Peter Brock is off the track, so's Craig Lowndes. Both those cars straight to the garage.
And Russell's pulled about a second and a half out of his lap times just to save his tyres a little bit for the third and final race. And we've got quite a dice here for second between Longhurst and Bowe. They're starting to go at it hammer and tongs, and Longhurst would be very, very hungry for a result. He's really got no chance of winning the championship, unlike John Bowe, so he's everything to gain and nothing to lose.
He's our 4th place man, Wayne Gardner. Certainly had his share of dust-ups this year. Certainly plenty of speed coming out of the Coca-Cola Holden. No shortage of straight-line grunt, but boy, he's really been in the wars. Here's the battle for 5th and 6th. John Faulkner, our leading privateer behind this quartet of level 1 teams. He's got Stephen Richards, another one of our leading privateers, breathing right down his next seat now, trying to pick his way through the field. He may struggle to get past these two before the race is completed. 18 laps down, 1.5 laps to go.
Mind you, the gap between the privateers and the top teams is narrowing as the season progresses, isn't it?
Certainly is. John Faulkner in the ex-Holden Racing Team Commodore, now resplendent. It's new colours, better electrical, and there's the Valvoline Cummins car breathing right down his neck. Stephen Richards and John Faulkner, very active in the super speedway scene. Look at Richards.
He's definitely having a go.
Oh, look how close he is. A little tap. 1, 2, 3 little taps. And Johnny Faulkner.
Hardly lose too much.
If you can see his mood in the way he fried up the back tyres there, I'd say he'd be pretty steamed.
Race leader Russell Ingall, meantime, is on his last lap. That's 2nd and 3rd, the battle there. John Bauer and Tony Longhurst. Here's Russell Ingall. Jumped to the front off the start, out-dragged Craig Lowndes at the start of the race. That's quite a feat in itself. Has not been headed since, despite absolute intense pressure through the first half of the race, certainly. And you've got to take your hat off to Russell Ingall. This is a great result for him.
Well, he's been threatening to do it all year. Very strong in the opening heats. And quite often a match, or more than a match, for his teammate Perkins. So he's putting in a tremendous show. Up the pit straight for the final time. Checkered flag waves for Russell Ingall. First time he's won a heat of the Shell Series. The battle, though, is on for 2nd and 3rd, but Bauer just enough squirt in a straight line to hold out Longhurst.
Well done, Russell Ingall, the winner. Heat 2, John Bauer 2nd, Tony Longhurst 3rd, then Wayne Gardner, Glenn Seaton in 5th position. 6th place was taken by Stephen Richards, then Larry Perkins, Mark Scape, John Faulkner, Steve Ellery, 3 privateers in the top 10.